All right, thanks so much for waking up with us. I'm Ruben Diaz on this Wednesday morning.
That's right.
It's going.
I'm Joe Ellis, and we're sort of post-elections here, just kind of getting going this morning. And let's talk about, that measure to legalize recreational marijuana. A lot of people want to know about this right off the top. It's an important issue in Arkansas.
And we got the answer for you. You may or may not like it, depending on how you voted, but officially failed. That's right. Not going to be passing here in the state of Arkansas. The AP making the call around 11:30 last night. It was one of the biggest and most debated issues on this year's midterm ballot, Joe.
All right, let's take a look at the votes. You see them right here. This was 92% precincts reporting at this time. You can see 44% of voters saying yes to this, but then you have 56% that are against. 5 News reporter Micah Wilson was outside of a dispensary in Rogers. He spoke with those in support and those against. Take a look.
Hey, good morning to you. Yeah, it looks like issue 4 ended up failing despite that strong support in the beginning to actually get it on the ballot, which we know it faced several challenges. It had to go through the Supreme Court to actually get it on the ballot. But I want you to take a look at some of this video so I can explain to you what would have happened if issue 4 passed. It would allow Arkansas to join about 19 other states who have already legalized recreational cannabis, and it would allow those 21 and up to actually purchase recreational cannabis. But ultimately, again, it did end up failing despite that strong support at the beginning. I did speak with Jerry Cox with Family Council, which is a conservative group. He tells me a reason why he believes it ended up failing is because it was poorly written. He says people who are actually for recreational marijuana, just marijuana in general, did not support this bill because of the way it was written. Now, I did ask Responsible Growth Executive Director Eddie Armstrong about this. He says now that it has failed, he will take a look back and revisit it and possibly try to get it back on the ballot in 2024 as his next steps. But I did ask both of them their thoughts on the results of this election, and here's what they had to say.
This is never an easy process, and just thank you to the supporters and the believers out there that really, took a bold step, whether they wanted you to know in public that they voted for this or against this. We understand that this is Arkansas.
We're glad the people of Arkansas saw through this terrible, terrible amendment and voted it down.
And again, issue 4 ended up not passing despite that strong support in the beginning. And we'll just have to wait till 2024 to see if it will be back on the ballot. For now, in Rogers, covering news where you live, Michael Wilson, 5 News.
All right, thanks a lot, Micah, for that. Now, while legalizing marijuana did not pass in Arkansas, let's break down some of the biggest counties and how they voted on the issue. Take a look at this. Benton County, 54% of the voters there against this measure. Washington County, the only county that voted for it, 52% in favor of the measure. If you look at Crawford County, it was a resounding no, though, 61% saying no, thank you. And the majority in Sebastian County also voting against recreational marijuana, with 53% of the voters saying no. Again, Washington County, the only county in the area that had the majority in favor. Of course, this is just a county-by-county breakdown in our area. Overall, legalizing recreational marijuana failed in the state by a majority.
And while Arkansas won't see legal recreational marijuana, our neighbors to the north there in Missouri was close, but they voted in favor of recreational marijuana. Right here, you can see how voters voted on this. 53% saying yes at this point, 47% with a no, and that's 99% of the precincts reporting there. Now, let's talk about adding this to the Missouri Constitution. That will be on December 8th, but they say it'll take longer before people are able to actually legally purchase this as the state of Missouri works through those licensing processes.
All right, so there were other issues on the ballot, right? 3 other issues that people were voting on. Issue one, let's take a look at that. It would allow for lawmakers to call a special session if for some reason they needed to, somebody other than the governor. This, though, did fail. 61% against, 39% for this measure. That's with 87% of the precincts reporting. Now, currently, under the way it's written right now, the governor is the only person who can call a special session.
All right, and issue 2, taking a look, which would increase the percentage of votes required to pass most statewide ballot issues from 50% plus to needing to have 60% of the votes. The majority saying no on this. Now, this would have made the state have to have a supermajority to pass statewide ballot issues. We can see how voters voted on this at this point, with 59% saying no.
All right, what about issue 3? You've heard a little bit about that one as well, the Religious Freedom Amendment. Now, this one, a little different than the other two because because it is neck and neck, 50% and 50% at this current point in time. Too close to call anything. This is with 90% of the precincts reporting, so every vote will probably count in this one to make the difference. This will provide a legal claim in court for a person to seek relief against the government for imposing on their religious freedoms. Now, supporters of the bill, like Jason Rayford, say that COVID-19 is an example of this, saying that people lost their jobs when they were required to get vaccinated despite religious exemptions. Meanwhile, people opposed are concerned the bill would allow people protection when they claim they maybe committed a crime in the name of religion.
And in Benton County, a push for alcohol sales on Sunday. Taking a look, if you live in Rogers and Bentonville, you'll be able to buy alcohol on Sundays with this going through. 74% of voters in Bentonville saying yes, while 26% giving this a no. Now let's take a look at what happened on this in Rogers. We'll see the percent there saying yes to the alcohol sales, 71%, 29% again. So it looks like this will move forward as well.
They were not hesitating
to
pass that one when it comes to allowing Sunday alcohol sales in Benton County, the two largest cities. Supporters tell 5 News it was all about keeping those tax dollars local.
Taking the approach that it's really based on economics and benefiting the community. I think it might be different if you had to drive an hour or two away to purchase alcohol on a Sunday, but when you can go 10 minutes down the road and get it, it just it doesn't make a lot of sense for us not to allow it here.
All right, we will continue to update results as they come in this morning. You can find a complete coverage of all of our election results. All you need to do is just find them online at 5newsonline.com or just download the free 5 News app. We'll have them right there as well.